Hello, everyone. It's me again, Delightful Soul.
So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can hear more content about your favorite celebrities, my opinions, and what's happening around the world. So let's get into this video.
Well, this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, surely the narrative and the antics did not disappoint us. However, the ratings did. This is the lowest ratings in this particular franchise history. I think they had over a little of 650,000 viewers. Well, they started this episode out with Mayetta and Kenya preparing for her performance at the Magic City Classic in Birmingham, Alabama. Kenya was promoting her hair care product, and it was sort of like a little secret that she's going to perform. However, she invited the girls to go with her. Everybody attended but Candy and Drew. Well, back to Mayetta and Kenya preparing for her performance. Meanwhile, her current suitor called Kenya's current suitor. And we find out during conversation that she has tested his waters before. Let's say it like that. So, a lot of people, including myself, is surprised considering she is this oh my type of person. So, at this point, it is a shock because they have not known each other for long. Well, allegedly, Kenya had put out a tweet saying that she was talking about her ex. Of course, that is a lie because why would you talk about your ex while conversing with your current suitor? I'm just asking. And well, I'm going to get back to this trip if I don't forget because it was so subpar considering that she complains and nitpicks every time she comes to someone's event or gathering, and this is the best that she can do. Well, they went to talking about Sonya, and she has her sister and mother sitting at the table, and her background information is that her whole family is living with her. She has her sister and her brother-in-law and their 2 children, and of course her parents, mother and father. And then of course she has her child and husband. Well, her husband Ross is deciding and has all right to decide that he wants to reclaim his house. He wants his family, wants to be with his family unit and possibly have another child. So when Sonya mentions this to her sister, of course she gets up from the table with an attitude, and it didn't seem as if her mother were supporting Sonya's decision when they did a confessional together. She switched sides, and that was kind of strange. But anyway, Sonya wants to reclaim her house with her husband. Now, Sonya's brother-in-law works for her. He is her assistant. And looking at the cell phone screen, whereas you check off the task as you complete them, there were not many checks. And Sonya made note of that. So Sonya also had a photo shoot, and the sister who does her hair did not show up for the shoot. Of course, she said she was sick and you can't do anything about that. But my point is, neither one of them are doing their job. The jury is still out on Courtney, but I'm leaning toward to liking her. She is helping Marlo clear her record. It has been over 20 years since Marlo had that offense, and she was concerned about being in her home without any weapons because she is a felon and they cannot own powwows in the state of Georgia. So Courtney is going to help her, I believe, is purge that record so that she can do normal things that normal citizens are doing. Of course, she's paying taxes and everything. So, and it's been a while, and I think it's about time for her to just move on from that. And I hope that Courtney is able to help her. And you ask, how can Courtney help? She is like a Olivia Pope, I heard. But of course, while there, Marlo and Courtney talking, also her sister was there, and they relived the experience they went through when Marlo's nephew was killed. So last episode, it left off where they gave us in a little concern that Sheree could be pregnant, and that's not the case. Ha ha. Sheree actually has fibroids, and I think that will be an interesting storyline because that is so common amongst a lot of ladies, and particularly the African American ladies, females, that will have these fibroids. And she was talking about her options with her doctor where she can shrink them or have them surgically removed. However, her downtime would be 6 to 8 weeks, and that's without exercising and sexing. And of course, she said that she would struggle with being without those two things for 6 to 8 weeks. So let's talk about this low budget trip Kenya put together for these ladies. This particular trip and the accommodations made for them is as if she is so far detached from them. If she doesn't like anyone or don't want to try to get along with no one but Candy, I don't even know why she's on the show. And my problem is that she critiques everything in every event that she attends and does not have everything together on her own. You know, such as her driveway, such as her relationship with her quote unquote husband. So it just bothers me for her to be the person that she is and acts the way that she does. But on the trip, the way down to Birmingham, as they spread those germs throughout the sprinter, Sheree quickly asked Kenya, how was it when she licked someone's hind part? And as you, it was very shocking to find out that Miss USA would partake in such activities. Then I thought about the fact that she once dated Mike Tyson, and I'm like, yeah, she participated. But on the way down, Courtney revealed that her relationship status is complicated, but she was single for that weekend. And once they arrived in Birmingham, the ladies went to some studio where they practiced some little routine or some little dance. And the person who did it the best would have won the better room or suite to stay in while they were in Birmingham. And of course, Sheree won, but it didn't matter because that suite was so not accommodating to what Sheree thought she would have had. But this was interesting. They were attending a charity where they were raising money for both of the universities, Alabama A&M University and Alabama State University. Whereas Kenya had a problem with Maniela's outfit, and of course she went and changed. And as they went on through the evening, the ladies were kicked out of the event. The were saying that they were taking the attention off the event, and it was mainly on the housewives that were there.
Were we dropped off at the wrong address? Because this is definitely not the upscale event Kenya has been raving about.
Then we get to the point where I presume that Kenya has bailed out on them and went back to her room. And the girls went to her room. Now notice that everyone was knocking on her door. Someone kicked the door. I believe it was Marlo, but then Marlo did kick it a little bit harder at the end. And all of a sudden, Kenya get all in her feelings, rightfully so, that her daughter is there. But the language, if your daughter was there. And there are two problems that I noticed. One, when you are entertaining people, you can, but it's not correct for you to leave your company unless there's an emergency. Also, the other problem is, why do you bring your daughter along oftentimes on trips? And that is a problem with you being sociably. And I think that was an excuse to get you out of the company where you were. Had Candy was there, you would not have had that problem. Marlo was annoyed by Kenya. See, what happened was Drew called Kenya and told her about Marlo yelling at her, and she made it seem as if Marlo stood over her and was yelling and everything like that in her face and intimidated her, when in fact at the beginning of their conversation, Marlo was sitting in the chair quietly listening to Drew. And I guess when you give them what they want, nine times out of 10, that's not what they really want. And Drew got offended by the fact that she was actually listening to her. And once she got up, yes, and she started to approach the door, she did yell at her in her face. And of course, you see a producer jumped to protect her just in case Marlo would have done something. But of course, Marlo is taller than Drew, and if she's taller than her and yelled at her, it does seem like it would have been aggressive. So Drew calls and tells Kenya that while they were at dinner, and Kenya takes it upon herself to inject herself in the problem, which she was not there at that moment, and tried to come to Drew's defense. And I think that what they are trying to do is make things worse than they really are. I have heard Kenya use the term this season aggressive, and she would use that when someone challenges her. So this is not making me more of a fan of her.
what you think about this story. And as always, I thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.